All right, hey folks, welcome back to the ranch. Today we have a little something different for you. We're not trying to be a review type channel, but I feel compelled to tell my fellow man what I think about Dewalt. So we've been at this about 4 years with these tools. There's not a tool here on this table that is over 4 years old. So we're gonna give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and just a really honest review of what we got going on here. You know, just like I do, once you buy into a battery system, you kind of get hooked. And so it's hard to transition into other tools. So you end up just becoming pretty much one color across the spectrum. Now, I do have other brands of tools. I am not 100% Dewalt, but that's okay. We'll get into that. So what we have here is a decent collection, a little backstory. These tools were used professionally for a couple of years. And then since we moved to our ranch and have been working on it for the last year and a half, they've been getting used intermittently. You know, these things don't get used every single day. They did for about 2 years. But it was just myself and my sons and one of my daughters that worked for me. So it wasn't like every tool on this table got used every minute of every day. So first we'll get into it. I'm gonna bust out my little handy dandy carpenter's tablet here. And I'll tell you what we got here sitting on the table before you. And we'll go over a little bit more of this and I'll kind of point some stuff out. This isn't gonna be a full-blown review tool by tool. This is more of a overview, grand big picture of what Dewalt tools are. So let's look at it first. We have power tools alone. We have 30 power tools, okay? So that's gonna mean something that takes a battery and then rotates or has a motor in it. That does not include flashlights, okay? So we have 30 power tools. We have 24 batteries, all the way from 9 amp hour down to 1 amp. And we have a total, including tape measure, a couple tape measures, a couple lights. We have a total of 61 Dewalt products here on this table. We're gonna get into the separation between the good and the bad. So you're gonna see this side of the table, all these tools from this pole saw this way, and then from this pole saw this way. That's how we kind of separated the tables here. That does not include the batteries that are up front, the 24 batteries. So just real quick, we have 20 tools on this side of the table, and we have 10 tools on this side of the table. Again, constitute power tool, right? It's got a motor in it. Well, here's where it gets ugly. These 10 tools over here have had either catastrophic failures or they cease to function in the way that they were meant to, intended by the manufacturer, and we pretty much no longer use them because of it. These 20 tools over here have been working thus far pretty flawlessly. I've been very happy with some and very disappointed in others. So let's get into that real quick. I'll just show you a little bit of the things I do like and don't like, and then the ones that have just been absolute failures. So thus far, we've had a 33% failure rate on Dewalt tools, whether it be catastrophic or, again, like I say, a function or it becomes intermittent. So let's get right to it. But first, here's the batteries. I have had 0 failures on batteries. So we are running 100% success rate on batteries. Again, we have 9 amp, we have 6 amp, we have 5 amp, there are, I believe, some 4 amps in here, and then we have a bunch of these 2 amps. So those have been great. I'm gonna show you the tools first that I've been very pleased with. So if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you the tools that I am very displeased with. So first off, here we go. We got our impacts, traditional impacts, hammer drill. This is more like a homeowner special, even though it's so-called brushless. It's been working fine. This is also a weaker model. This is not the same as this. I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't know really the difference between the two as far as the models, but this is a powerful gun. That is not so much. So we kind of have a wide array of a bunch of different stuff here. So this large 1/2-inch drive impact has been flawless. I love it. It's a great gun. The smaller one has been fine. It functions great, whatever. We don't use it much. We find ourselves using the larger one much more frequent. Now, I will give Dewalt a shout out on this. This is the mixer drill right here. This thing is a beast, and it has worked its butt off, and it has not missed a stroke. So we mixed a ton of concrete with it. I bore a lot of holes with it, and it's been a great tool. Here we go. Hammer drill. This hammer drill right here. Let's see, look at the model if we can. DCH 273. Great tool. That thing works flawless. These nailers, they work great. They spool up, they fire well, they feed well. The jigsaw, it functions as a jigsaw, nothing special. This multi-tool, or we like to call it the cool tool. Good machine, works great. The palm sander, it works. Nothing special, but it functions. These grinders, I have really put them through hell and back, and they continue to work. This little saw right here, I'm gonna have to say, strangely enough, is kind of the star of the show right here. I have been absolutely thoroughly impressed with it. It's a great little saw. It has made thousands upon thousands of cuts, cutting a lot of composite decking. It has cut and cut and cut, and it still works. The leaf blower, it's been great, flawless. It should be. It's a pretty simple tool. The lights, okay, great, they work, whatever. This is a great sawzall, reciprocating saw. We used it a fair amount. It's a good saw. Let's get to this. This is a sheet metal shear. Goes in the end of the impactor drill. You rig this up. This connects back down to the handle, and it shears. And I'll tell you what, it's a great tool. We've used the heck out of it. I've really enjoyed it. No complaints. So thus far, pretty much everything you see here, I've been impressed with. At least it's been satisfactory, if not better than satisfactory. It is surpassed my expectations. Let's get to this pole saw. Okay, the other extension is not here. What I'm going to say about that pole saw is it functions. Yes, it cuts. It seems to have decent power. It leaks more oil, I swear. Leaks more bar oil than you actually put in it. It must make bar oil. It is the leakiest. Let's just be honest. It's a piece of junk when it comes to how much it leaks. If you put any bar oil in it, it's going to leak out. Look, it's been sitting here for, I don't know, 30 minutes, and it's leaked that much. And it's out of bar oil, honestly. Plus the coupler here, the way this connects and threads onto this is a floppy, rattly piece of garbage. I do not recommend it if you want a tool that feels quality. Does it function? Yes, it does function. Okay, moving on. This used to be one of my prized possessions. I loved this saw until it shot out a plume of smoke out of the motor and never functioned again. Pretty sad, really pretty sad. $400 saw. That thing didn't last but a little over 2 years. So here it sits in the graveyard. This is the boneyard, folks. This is what we're getting into now. This little drill here absolutely is intermittent. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This impact, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it's a speed control or something in the circuitry, or it's just a trigger, but it doesn't work. All right, this little guy here. It was a good drill. It seemed to have good power, but the chuck has crapped the bed in short order. Didn't last long. Like I said, I'll reiterate. There's not a tool on this table that's over 4 years old. Most of them are somewhere between 2.5 and 3 years old. Moving on. This, nice little planer. Function well, smooth, good power, quiet. It does not discharge the shavings out of it worth a damn. I even had to take this plate off that gives you the little hole or the connector so you can put a shavings collection bag on it. Doesn't matter. It clogs all the time. Well, not only does it clog, it also blew smoke out. Something inside it fried. No longer works. Junk. Framing nailer. Here you go. I've had a lot of people, oh, you got to get yourself one of them Dewalt framing nailers. 21 degree framer right here. This thing is literally not even good as a boat anchor. That piece of crap jams about every rack of nails, and it just stopped working. The plunger's messed up inside it. The thing doesn't spool up right. And it can't have, that thing can't have 5,000 nails through it. Junk, absolute junk. So we come across the drills, the saw, oh, the palm sander. Let's get to the palm sander. Again, failure. That's actually over here. This one does function, I'm not gonna lie. But I put it over here because the one before it did die and it had to be replaced. So we have one over here sitting in the loss column. Right here, 100-foot Dewalt tape. The end fell off it. I couldn't have used this thing more than, I don't know, this thing's probably hasn't been stretched out 50 times since I purchased it. Junk. Job site radio. It functions, yes. It makes sound, yes. But the power button has failed. So you have to smash it down as hard as you can to get it to turn on. And sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. This little vacuum right now does function still, but I had to jerry rig it. It blew an internal fuse, and for no good reason. There was nothing stuck, nothing got caught in it, nothing hung up in the motor. And then here we go. This brings us to the crescendo. This is the flex volt. It'll take 2 batteries right here, or there's a transformer that snaps in, and then you can take and plug it directly in to 110 power. That thing fried last year. Again, plume of smoke shot out of there. That was it. Never functioned again. That's an $800 saw, folks. That thing didn't last but a little over 2 years. Absolutely disgusted. Okay, so here we are. I'm not going to rant on this too much more. Basically, the moral of the story is that when you spend this much money on a product that claims to be professional grade, I don't think that you should have this many failures. And of course, my luck, you know, of course, they're all out of warranty, so I'm not going to just be taking this stuff back in and exchanging it. So it was quite disappointing for the amount of investment I have in this. I don't know. I didn't actually sit there and tally up how much money I have in all these tools, but it's many thousands of dollars, I can assure you, when you start talking about $400 nail guns. Every nail gun you see here is 400 bucks. There's one here that is not actually even here that I gave to a friend. I've given a few tools to my oldest son that he's a decking contractor, and I helped him get started with just a couple little things, you know, not much. But pretty much all in all, highly disappointed in DeWalt products. So, you know, I would like to try, and I've heard really good things about them. I don't know much. So if you folks do or have or heard of, have any experience, firsthand experience with flex tools, I'm kind of curious. The few demonstrations I've seen, they seem to be pretty good. So let me know if you do know anything about them in the comments, if you wouldn't mind. I just have to warn you, if any of you folks are looking to get into cordless tools, I won't ever buy another DeWalt product, I don't think, in my life, ever. And I have all these already. So it's kind of a bummer. I'm definitely going to be going with another brand as I move forward here. So I'm just not going to be throwing my good money away anymore. You know, 33% failure rate, that is absolutely unacceptable. So it finally got to me. I felt compelled to make this video because this stuff just keeps breaking, folks. And you know what? If you're just a weekend warrior and you don't use your stuff that much, it probably doesn't matter what brand you buy. Go buy Ryobi. Doesn't matter. The stuff works. Here's the kicker. My father, bless his heart, he's been a contractor for many years, but he never can seem to really treat himself to the really fancy tools. So he just buys what's affordable and what works. So he has some Ryobi tools. He's been a contractor and carpenter for 50 years. Well, his Ryobi stuff is outlasting my high dollar DeWalt. So basically, moral story is, don't buy DeWalt. Go buy something else. You can buy something that's half the money and probably last twice as long. So anyway, if you stuck around this long to hear me rant about these terrible tools, I would really appreciate, you know, a like or a share on the way out. If you're not subscribed, we really appreciate it. It sure helps us out. And I want to thank all of our subscribers because, you know, all you folks who view our content, all those you that don't subscribe to us and watch our content. It's really all the thanks and appreciation goes to you folks, because we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing without your support. So it really does mean the world to us. Thank you very much. Thanks from Tick Creek Ranch, and we'll see you on the next one.